Hi there. July 5th. Tomorrow there's more action in the World Cup in Europe. Today's musings led me to think about a pipeline going over something rather than under something. Over where everybody can see it. So the schematic here is that of a highway, and we got a blue car further up the road, and we've got a red car closer to the point of perspective of the schematic. And for the interest of safety, let's put some white lines. Maybe not too many. Because what we're going to do is have a highly visible pipeline. And for schematic purposes, it's going to be huge. But my thought for the size of the opening, it could really vary. So our schematic is essentially the pipeline is going to be this great big happy arch that successfully traverses the highway with plenty of breathing room for all kinds of activities on either end. Now, this being July 5th, something of a historic news day, news happened. I hope everybody had a swell July 4th statistically. Like most American holidays, it's one that you've got to be extra careful on. Okay, so we've got this tube. And it's big enough to cross the highway. It kind of looks like a bridge, so let's say it's big enough so that maybe a worker could have some kind of infrastructure. And maybe for the interest of people who are casual observers of these YouTube self-broadcasts, I might give the infrastructure a slightly different color. So you got a tube. And the idea of the tube is it's a riparian bridge. The tube itself is filled up with, dirt and things that I'm sure have been tested in the field and make critters like possums and skunks and bunny rabbits feel safe, and I'm willing to bet they get hip enough to the fact that the idea is that they enter the tube, and the idea is to not have them be so distracted in so many different ways by the traffic that they are slaying. Now, the neat thing I think about this sort of tube is this is the sort of project that can attract a lot of people, and it's one that, say for example, the Haitian projects attract people because, well, how are you going to get say a female bicycle racer to endorse a concept like a female Pony Express bicycle team in Los Angeles, or San Diego, where a lot of really great bicycle people flourish. But in a place like Haiti, from the ground up, you might have a populace who says, yeah, And then eventually we might want bicycles that are a little more our style, a little perhaps less metal flashy, maybe more old school looking bicycles. But for now, this might be sort of like a flashy innovation that may later find its way in a more Haitian way. Well, I imagine a lot of communities might well take to having these bridges to protect, well, possums and raccoons and other critters that might want to crawl across the highway. See, this one's painted not too aggressive yellow. And you could write welcome to well, wherever the town is. My guess is from quirky millionaires to even pretty stubborn senators, this is the sort of thing that might very well get government grants. Bunny rabbit bridges. Like, who's going to say, well, I'm not going to build a bunny rabbit bridge, you know? When Germany occupied Holland, they made their initial automobile race course. It was actually originally for motorcycles. And the idea was, well, it's something they could do. And then after they made the course at Zandvoort, which means sand fort, which is kind of a nifty biblical turn on the ear and mind. Anyway, a bunny rabbit bridge. And there could be all kinds of design contests in different ways. I bet there's leftover tubing all over the place for this sort of thing. And how to coax the bunnies here and there. And then also it could be big enough for pedestrians too. You could have little, well, say if nice land, whether it's something like archaeological site like McDonald's with arches used to be here, or even further back, you can have people park safely on either side of the highway without creating some kind of grotesque on-off thing. Well, I don't know if the sound quality was good enough for that, but what we have here is a bunny rabbit bridge, and with the welcome sign, and hopefully a government grant to build it from out of something. There's the arts and leisure section in the newspaper, and maybe we're ready for something like arts and politics section. So with that, it's been one of these, and thanks. Happy July 5th.